going to Vermont. This is a trip that I've dreamed about taking my whole life. Found a little cabin in the middle state area of Vermont, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's not much around it, and so Peak could be right now. I don't really know. I've seen some indicators that it's this upcoming week, which if that's Peak, then there's already a lot of color everywhere. You know, last year was phenomenal going up to Lake Keuka and the Finger Lakes in New York, and I hit that dead on as the 22nd of October. Last year turned out to be a really great time of year for that area. It was peak there, man. To jump in it this weekend, I've got 3-night stay too. I said I'm doing a long weekend if I'm coming all the way up here to Vermont. So boy, it's getting really pretty up here. Not too long ago, I went through Scranton in northeast PA. Yep, that says I love New York up there. So I didn't see the sign, for the state border, but I'm in New York now, and it's the second time in less than a year that I'm in New York. It is a beautiful state. So north of Scranton, and I'm heading into New York. I'm going to Binghamton, wrapping around Binghamton to then head towards Albany. But boy, I just am reminded how much comfort I feel at this time of year. There's a huge reason why I just look forward to this so much. I'm in Vermont. Woohoo! I haven't been here in years. I used to come up skiing with my family to Killington, which is in the middle of the state, about a handful of times at least, maybe 6 or 7 times. It was always in the winter to ski, or in the early spring. So to be here in the fall is great, but oh my gosh, I'm looking at that mountain right there. I was starting to get a little disheartened because in New York right there at the end, there wasn't much color, but check this out. See that mountain range up there? That's all color. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Just a couple miles just makes such a difference. There's so much color more color now than it was just 2 miles back. And to like make the change from the border of New York into Vermont, it's nuts. No, you can't see, but it looks like there are some brights up there. Some real bright reds and oranges. Ooh. As we get close, it'll be easier to tell. But
2 miles, keep left.
I will, honey. That whole mountain range is color. Love it. Love it.
As I entered the state of Vermont, I began to see what all the hype was about. And it wasn't only about the color of the foliage, but it was the mountains, the open country, the lay of the land.
Yo, this here, Vermont, in October. Does it get any better than this? Woohoo!
Those iconic back roads eventually led me to the cabin that I'd be staying at for the next 3 nights. My home base, to use as I explored what I could of the autumn Vermont countryside. There was plenty of rain in the upcoming weekend forecast, but I had an absolute gorgeous day for my day of driving to arrive here. And so, my only chance for a sunset was on my very first night. I felt very fortunate to get these shots before my opportunity was quickly gone. You wouldn't see much color right where that little red cabin was, as a lot of the surrounding trees already had lost their leaves. It was only the 5th of October. So up here, there are some areas that get hit real early on. And I drove through some places which seemed to be past peak, with trees having already lost their leaves. Yet, there were other places that were still very much green and hadn't even started to turn by this point. But just over the western ridge was that grove of trees just about to fully hit peak color, with plenty of reds and oranges that gave me quite the show, right as the sun was about to retire for the evening. It was time to relax and wind down, only to gear up for a full day of hunting the next morning.
Well, I'm here. I'm in a cabin in Vermont in October. Should be a fun stay. And my dad's joining me tomorrow. He's coming up tomorrow. Should get here around 5 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, something like that. So, looking forward to that, but that gives me tomorrow to drive around and come up with a plan, which I think I have. I think I have tomorrow mapped out. But this is October, man. This is what I've been looking forward to. So, yeah, I'm here to enjoy it. This cabin's a really cute little cabin. It's really cozy. I'm not going to make a fire tonight. Maybe tomorrow. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so maybe I'll make one tomorrow with Dad while he's here. But I'm not going to stay up late tonight. Probably turn on they have a DVD player here. Turn on a DVD and watch a movie and then head to bed.
In this way, sleep and toss it out the window and open the car. Just all comfort. It's a blanket. Just a blanket. 500 channels. Some guy's name on the end of it.
My plan was to start heading east, towards the border of New Hampshire, and then drive north to catch Route 4 in Woodstock. After traveling west to get to Killington, then I would head back down south toward my cabin. I had no idea how long that loop would take me, but leaving at 9 in the morning gave me plenty of time before my dad was set to arrive by 6 p.m. He was going to stay with me for that Friday night and Saturday night before the both of us planned to depart on Sunday morning. My dad was then going to stay at a place in New Hampshire and then 2 more nights at a different place in Vermont to extend his vacation, while I then headed for home. And so it began. One of the most visually stunning and adventurous days of my life as I jumped from spot to spot to capture what I could of the autumn color and atmosphere.
it's so much fun driving around, and it's so much fun doing this. I just want to pull my cameras out at each stop, and it's like, can't do that, you know, because I'd be here all day and it would take me, you still can't capture, you just can't capture everything. So you kind of have to, you know, just, you got to be here. Just got to make it a point to come up here and drive around and physically be here. You know, that's the only way to truly experience fall. But man, is it fun. And I'm trying to get around to some of the hot spots. I'm east now, and I'm starting to head north to go up towards Pico and Killington, because, you know, I want to see what's up there. And if that being further north, I'm wondering if it's going to be a little bit different. Out here, things are turned, but it's not peak here yet. I've driven through some areas where it is peak, especially yesterday coming in. But yeah, it's just like an ongoing adventure. There's some footage for you.
And it is mentally taxing too, trying to stay on top of getting a well-exposed shot on camera of each autumn scene that jumped out at me. But despite my extended weekend, I still felt the pressure to move at a certain pace, which inhibited my ability to truly relax and soak in my time in this environment. But relaxing isn't the reason I made this road trip in early October. The key seemed to be to head north and towards the center of the state, because as I got to Woodstock, I began to see more and more color. And then the drive west on Route 4 gave me even more of what I came here to see, leading me into a valley between two mountain ranges where the color was absolutely singing. There were too many areas up here that I wanted to go. But after filling the tank and staying on track, I ascended up the mountain to what would be the pinnacle of my day. And I'd be lying if I told you that by now fatigue wasn't a factor for me after driving and filming for 2 days straight. Yet this is the kind of stuff that I just could not deny, no matter how tired I was getting. All of these orange hues is what completely captivates me, and they were bountiful up here in these mystical mountains. Alright, so I ended up at Killington Peak. I wasn't sure I was going to come up here, but since I've been here a few times as a kid, throughout my years, 5, 6, 7 times, something like that, I'm familiar with the area, but I've never seen it in the fall like this. And I'm glad I came up here because it's been the best foliage that I've seen in Vermont to this point, and it's really not even close. But it's awesome. It's awesome. This is about right. This is about right. Yep, this is what I came for. That was it. I just couldn't believe some of those colors on the top of that mountain. I never thought that it would be so exhausting trying to find something like that. And I've been chasing those vibrant colors for 4 years now. And I finally found it in Vermont. If I didn't show more excitement, it's because of how long the day felt, driving around so much as I had. But I was done hunting for the day. And as the weather turned gloomy, I headed back to meet my dad at the cabin. Cheers, Dad.
Cheers.
In Vermont. In October.
Yes. In front of the little red
Cabin.
Cozy little red. Was it open?
Yeah, it was open. There's people in there eating.
Good. Remember for a while it wasn't open.
He spent all day on the road as well. So we sat on the front stoop and watched the weather bring in the raindrops and knock the leaves off of the trees. July 23.
Yeah, that's when they had that big flood.
Yeah.
Came up
Has not been evaluated for possible hazards. Swim at your own risk. But we're not swimming today.
I don't think so.
On Saturday, we spent a couple of hours driving around. This time we made a small loop around the western region from the Little Red Cabin. We stopped a few times to get out of the car, and we even hit a couple of country stores in the small town of Weston.
That one? Oh.
Then we would grab a lunch at an Irish pub that caught our eye in Ludlow before taking it easy the rest of the day.
Looks like a lot of old bridges.
It does, but it just looks out of place, kind of. That train's gonna fall one way or the other and hit all the cars beneath it.
This is a Ludlow.
This is Ludlow, so I think you're gonna go.
My dad has traditionally come up to Vermont many times in the winter throughout his years to stay for the better part of a week and ski some of the resorts up here, in particularly Killington, which has been his favorite. As he gets older, he doesn't feel that it's appropriate to make week-long ski trips in Vermont anymore, yet he still loves this area of the country. So it just made sense for me to invite him along for my autumn trip this year to see the leaves. And we really had an enjoyable time. There is nothing quite like the Vermont countryside. And at this time of the year, it's full of surprises. Leaving the cabin Sunday morning to start the long trek home, I detoured to the south for yet one more loop to find turning foliage. I headed for the infamous Route 9, and I took it the entire way across the state to get to New York. And along the way, before I said goodbye to the beauty of Vermont, it presented me with one last visual autumn phenomenon to capture and enjoy. All that rain from the day before had swelled the waterways throughout the landscape, and the rush of the water only added to the fall scenery I was able to experience. felt fulfilled. I felt grateful. To be able to have the ability to make trips like these and experience something that I find so amazing and beautiful. And then to get to apply my creative side to capturing some of the essence on video and in photos, it's really such a satisfying part of life. Again, I had a beautiful sunny day from my long drive home. And as I soaked in all that had happened in a flurry of a long weekend for me, I thought about how awesome it was to experience Vermont in early October. And after reflecting, a small thought crept into the back of my mind. What will my fall trip look like next year?